It's time for a Humans in Tune conversation with Darren on 93.9 Mike FM.
Hello, friends and neighbors, 93.9 Mike FM listeners and or viewers. I appreciate you tuning in with me. It's time for another Humans in Tune chat, and as we gear up for the Shipyard Music Festival, starting tonight, continuing tomorrow, 2 full days, or day and a half, of fun and frolic and music and family experiences, and I love this festival. And this next musician that's coming up, he's closing with his band. They're closing tomorrow night's events, closing the entire day for us, and really closing out the festival. No better way to do it, and I'd like to welcome to the Humans in Tune Facebook Live shenanigans, Drew Holcomb of Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors. Drew, thanks so much for joining me, man.
Yeah, how you doing? Good to be on.
Yes, I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to have you. We're looking forward to Shipyard. Real quick, if you have not gotten your tickets yet, go to shipyardfest.com, grab them today. The magic of digital will put them in your hands, and you'll be ready to roll in, catch it tonight, catch it tomorrow. And don't miss Drew. You'll be performing, like I said, you're closing tomorrow night around 9 o'clock to 10:30 as we wrap things up. But you're on the road literally right now, and if you're watching this and not listening on the podcast, you can see it. You're in the bus, and before we were on air, you mentioned somewhere coming through about Indianapolis right now, and you're on your way to Cincinnati?
Yeah, that's right. We're playing, the Revivalists have a festival they call the Big River Get Down in Cincinnati that we're playing this evening. And then we'll get back on the bus at midnight, sleep our way to Cape Girardeau, and be ready to go tomorrow. So we're thrilled about Shipyard. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yep. And a lot of the artists, what's cool about the festival too is you get into town early, maybe check out the river. We're right down there on the riverfront, hang out in the Mississippi for a little bit, grab some ice cream, but coming to the festival, catching the other bands. It's a great lineup this year, and we're honored to have you guys coming into Cape for this. I think one of the beauties of Shipyard is it brings a lot of bands to people's immediate recognition that, holy cow, I love this. Why haven't I been listening to this? I told you before we went on that, I wish I'd have found you 20 years ago so I could dig in. You've got quite a storied career as a musician, man. The caliber you're at now is amazing. You've played CBS this morning. You've got a new record out now. The new record's called Strangers No More. When did this drop?
It came out in early June, but as a lot of people do now, we started dropping singles kind of back in February. But it's been really, really cool. We've put out a lot of records over the last, like you said, 20 years. This one we kind of was probably the biggest break between the record before, and this one was almost 4 years.
Wow.
Part of that we had this this little pandemic that happened that kind of slowed us down for a minute, but really it gave me a lot of fresh perspective on my music, on touring. And I think this is our best work, and it's been responded to sort of in that same way. We had our first #1 song with a song called Find Your People on Americana Radio. And, it's just been going really well, and crowds seem to really love not just the old songs that they expect, but they seem to be really into the new stuff too. So it's kind of a veteran's dream that your new music is still connecting with people. So and it's a very lively, exciting record. It's got a lot of energy to it, so it makes for a great it'll make for a great headline set tomorrow night, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, Find Your People, I think, you mentioned connecting with people, here through as an adult musician. I think that's a big point to your music is it does connect with people. I mean, Find Your People, if you don't connect with that one, I don't know how to explain it to you. It's a beautiful piece of work. And I think I read
Thank you. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say one of my favorite things about the audience these days for us, I think will probably be true at Shipyard, is that it's pretty multi-generational. Like, most of our fans are our age, they're in their 30s and 40s, but
I appreciate
we look
that.
around and and we see a lot of people, with their kids, and even people with older people my parents' age. And I hope that is a reflection of the music, that it sort of spans, generational taste and stuff. But that's always really, I don't know, it always means a lot to me to see people from sort of all the way from kids up to grandparents.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got a daughter that's 15 and a son that's 12. They're going to be jamming tomorrow night. My dad's 77. Hopefully he'll be there with us jamming tomorrow night. And, you're right. It does. It bridges the click of a generation, we had bubblegum pop, or we had, golden country moments in the late 70s, early 80s, that kind of thing. This is And I think it's the beauty of Americana is you do kind of bridge the generations. It's more about your heart and what you are as a human. And that's a miracle to be able to pull that off and be successful with it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. And again, like you guys have mentioned, or you've released 9 studio albums over the years. Quite a collection. You look online, you guys are your streaming numbers. I think the Spotify last time I looked was like 1.8 million listeners monthly or something like that. It's up there.
Blows my mind every time I see that.
Didn't that kind of freak you out a little bit? Like, wow. But it's a beautiful thing. It's good when you can connect with people over your music and see that number versus a 2-line pop hit you threw out with some drum and bass or something, So it shows you how many hearts are right along there with you. You come to this festival not just as a musician and as a performer, but also as somebody who has impressive experience creating and growing a festival yourself.
Yeah, that's right. We just had Moon River Music Festival in Chattanooga 2 weeks ago for the 8th time in 10 years, and it was really, really great. It's grown into this thing that's sort of beyond my wildest dreams. But yeah, I know the hard work, the blood, sweat, and tears, the fretting over weather and bathrooms and security and food vendors and all the things that you need to make sure that everybody has a good time but a safe time, and dealing with bands and their production needs. And so I make sure and tell my band and crew to be really extra patient and merciful whenever we're playing a festival that's kind of new or newish. And so I'm looking forward to seeing this thing. And honestly, one of the reasons I wanted to play Shipyard was because I know what it takes to put on a festival, and so I'm honored to get asked to play this new one. And I know that I guess they had was last year the first year, or is this the third year?
No, this is is this year 5? I think.
Oh, you're 5. Wow.
Yeah. Maybe.
Oh, awesome.
So,
well, then maybe they know more than I do.
It's the 3-year hump, right? You do something once. If you get rain, you mark it off. You do it the next year. If you make it through the 3rd year and you're not bankrupt or trying to sell your children on the dark side of the internet, you probably will survive and can continue to grow that. I think. Yeah, I agree.
It resonates.
And that's the beauty of these smaller festivals like this is at the core, it's music, but you're also bringing a lot of local experience to it. It's almost like a musical farmer's market without a lot of the commerce, but you've got tons of local food. You've got local drinks. It's just a place for people to connect. And when you can see that grow from, 1,000 to 3,000 to 30,000, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Yep. And, as you get, you're coming to Cape, you're going to close out Shipyard tomorrow night. Everybody's going to walk away saying, man, that was the best thing I had. I'm sure you're going to have plenty of merchandise for folks to pick up.
Yeah. Certainly, we got lots of shirts and signed vinyl and posters and hats, and we'll happily let people help us send our kids to college by taking some of our stuff home with them.
Yeah, amen to that. Absolutely. One other interesting note, I had to ask about this because I like bourbon, and I kind of read that you have had some hands-on bourbon experience as an entrepreneur, and you partnered with some couple of big names to get some bourbon going.
Yeah. I got really fortunate to be asked to be a very small minority investor and partner in this bourbon called Sweetens Cove Tennessee Bourbon, which is sort of our most famous partner is Peyton Manning, and Andy Roddick is involved, Jim Nance from CBS, a few other kind of name folks. So It's been really fun. I think we're in about 15 states now. We got this wonderful woman, Marianne Eves, who's the first female master blender in Kentucky that does a lot of our bourbon making for us, and it's been
nice.
It's been a lot. We've learned a lot, but we're having a lot of fun. It's been a neat experience.
Yeah, it is. It's an art. It really is an art form.
Yeah, it is. And honestly, getting to do something like that with Peyton has been fun. And I've never been more impressed with how he treats everybody he meets with dignity and respect. And that says a lot about him. So.
Yeah, that's cool. I will hunt it down. We have a couple of good shops around here that if they don't already have it, they will track it down. I guarantee it. So, We'll make sure we get a bottle of that, and
Awesome.
I'll have a test drive. As far as your music goes, you know, as a solo musician, you build your career, you write your songs and so forth. But this band that you're bringing with you, what a bunch of all-stars, man. These guys are amazing musicians in their own right, amazing harmonies that you're bringing in with it. I mean, how'd you score that?
You know, it's really been a long-standing relationships. I mean, Nate Duggar, my guitar player, started playing with me when I first moved back to Memphis in 2004, and
Okay.
has played with me ever since. And then, but he's played with. I mean, I can't even. It's hard. It would be hard to go down the list of everybody.
It's one of those
he's
Santa's
recorded
naughty
with,
lists that you go like
recorded
this and it
with.
just
Yeah,
rolls out forever.
yeah, exactly. And that's really true for all four of my guys. But I sort of Nate and Rich have been playing with me for almost 20 years each, and
Wow.
then our drummer Will has been with us since 2018, and our keys player has been with us since 2019, and again they're all super talented, and
Yeah.
you know they're the guys that play on the record as well. You know, a lot of artists use, like, you know, studio players. When I was young, I think the way I got these guys to stay with me was I told the producers I wanted to use my band, not the professional studio players. And then what happened over time was my guys became studio professionals.
That's
You
exactly
know,
my assumption. I was like, okay, so is this a bunch of Nashville studio guys that, you know, tore this new record up with it? And you have the studio guys on the
no,
road with you. I don't know how you sweet talked them, but, you know, you build that life with them, and that's amazing. What a relationship.
yeah, my favorite was when we made Dragons in 2018. Will, we did not have a drummer at the time, and we asked Will Sales to play drums, and he's just a studio drummer who had been off the road for a decade. And after finishing the record, he came to me and was like, "Hey, man, I mean, I know y'all are looking for a drummer, but I think I'd like the gig." So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. And you know, and to be able to bring, you know, a studio musician can do a great job of, you know, they'll play the album, and on the road, the guys will sound very close, but there's those subtle nuances that come from the recording that musicians' ears are like, oh yeah, there it is. There's that moment. There's that click. And
Yeah,
the synergy, the build that you guys have together, it's going to make for such a great show for us to see tomorrow night. We're super excited.
yeah, me too. Me too. Very thrilled.
And of course, you know, again, I want to remind folks, shipyardfest.com is the website. Head to the website. You can grab your tickets. You can meet Drew. You can read more about the band. If you're a Spotify listener, check out the Shipyard 23 playlist, because it's got a highlight of every band in there. It's your crash course as you gear up for the weekend, including a few songs, of course, from Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors. But in addition to digitally, you know, pick up the vinyl. I love vinyl. I love the warmth of it, especially on Americana music. And you can throw the headphones on and tell everybody to leave you alone and just
Right.
melt into it. I'm excited to be able to do that with you guys live tomorrow.
Yeah, we are too. We're thrilled to be there. We're very honored to be asked to headline. I mean, we honestly don't get asked to headline a lot of festivals, so this is a sort of a banner moment for us.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to give the crowd. So,
Now, as you get past Cape Girardeau, what are the plans? Are you going to be hitting the road again later this fall? You got any other new music that you're writing? You're probably perpetually writing music, right?
yeah, I mean, I just put out a single that was sort of last minute about 9 days ago. We're in the middle of a tour, and there's a guy out on tour that's called Josiah and the Bonnevilles, and he and I wrote a song and put it out. It's called "It Haunts Me." But we literally we leave Shipyard and go right back out. We're at Kalamazoo, Michigan the next day, and then we go home for about 4 days, and then we're kind of all along the East Coast, New England, down to Philly, to Richmond, to Charleston, and then take a little break, and then we head over kind of towards the Oklahoma, Texas, Mississippi route, and then we'll be done for a minute.
Little bit of break for the holidays.
Yeah, break for the holidays, then back out in the spring.
Do you take the family with you when you travel sometimes?
Sometimes, yeah. My daughter's actually coming for the New England run. She's 11. She's going to help run merch and hang out with Dad all day. So,
Dude,
it'll be great.
what a great gig, Dad. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, dude, we wish you the safest travels, and I greatly appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today. We will see you tomorrow at the Shipyard Music Fest, and we wish you the best.
All right. Looking forward to it. See you tomorrow.
Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors on 93.9 Mike FM's Humans in Tune. And we appreciate you hanging out and watching. You can catch us on the podcast at 939mikefm.com as well. And we'll see you at the Shipyard Music Festival tomorrow. You can find the tickets at shipyardfest.com. We'll see you next time for another Humans in Tune segment on 93.9 Mike FM.
Thanks for catching this Humans in Tune conversation with 93.9 Mike FM. Find previous interviews on our Facebook page, or you can listen via our podcast at 939mikefm.com.